Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video on my channel. It's a type of video that now we're approaching basically near enough the halfway stage of the season, and it's not gone great, let's be honest. A lot of expectation was put upon us at the start of the season to really do well since coming up from the Championship. We got a lot of good plaudits last season for the way we played. Obviously coming up into the Premier League, was meant to be a positive experience for us, and we're going to take it in our stride and hopefully do well this season. But reflecting on it now, it hasn't been the case. And I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. Obviously, after the Manchester United game, I put a poll out of my YouTube channel community section. It got over 77 votes, which is good. 88%, the majority voted for me to do this. And really reflecting on some of the fallout from Saturday as well, and in recent months, there's so much, in my opinion, that's going wrong at the club. And I do think we've gone backwards from where we were, say, 6-7 months ago in terms of what we set out to achieve. We've gone backwards instead of forwards, and it's worrying now, especially come up to the Christmas period now. You know, coming Christmas, not far off Christmas now, sitting bottom of the league, and it's looking bleak. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like to try and panic, but seeing some of the performances this season haven't been good enough, and mostly the blame, is it the Khan's fault? I think it is. But there's a lot of things that I want to talk about, really, not just on the pitch. There's a lot of problems, in my opinion, that are off the pitch as well. And there's a lot of things that need to be done to really try and unite the fans, I believe. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say massive, numerous numbers to divide, but I definitely think there's opinions that differentiate between the two. And obviously the first main talking point is obviously the ticket prices, and this has been well publicised and well documented by many people on social media, that the ticket prices for us this season, they're not affordable to all, in my opinion, and in particular to the Fulham fans who are not season ticket holders, obviously, or for whatever reason they can't afford a season ticket, and they look to try and purchase tickets on the match day to come and watch a team. And over the past couple of days, I did a bit of research, taking samples, ticket prices samples from the three priority clubs. I think that's the best way to do it. And I think I do understand, I completely get that when you go into a new division, like if you're coming up from the Championship to the Premier League, there will be a slight increase in ticket prices. I get that. And as long as you're not ripping fans off to the point where you're charging extortionate amounts, then I see that as acceptable. But I looked at Cardiff and Wolves. I took two samples from their ticket prices, and I looked at them and I was very surprised at how affordable it is to watch Premier League football in Cardiff and Wolves to everybody. I'll take some figures here. For Cardiff, if you're an adult and you want to go and watch Cardiff play in the Premier League, it'll cost you about £25. If you're a senior, which is over 16, it comes into that bracket, it'll cost you £20. If you're a student, or 16 to 21, if you're a full-time student, that is, or as I said, 16 to 21, it'll cost you £14. And if you're a junior, which starts at under 16, it'll set you back £11. I can't reiterate how much great value that is for this club, for their club. I can't reiterate how important that is in terms of making it affordable for all and attracting the younger generation as well. £11 to watch Premier League football for an under 16. It's a fantastic way to try and attract the younger generation to support the club. Because obviously we're in a generation where lots of people tend to watch bigger teams at home on the sofa instead of going to support the local teams down the road or local teams around the corner. And I think by putting that on, especially for the younger generation in particular, I think it's fantastic, and it's definitely, and you can see that looking at Cardiff's home games this season. Every home game I've watched from them this season, the atmosphere has been great, and it's no surprise really. They're getting a full house in here every week. You can watch, I know the next time I think it's Tottenham, I think. So if you're an adult, you could go and watch a good team like Tottenham as a Cardiff fan for 25 quid. You can't complain with that. Moving on to Wolves, I think looking at their structure, I do believe that some games are Category A and Category B, depending on all about who they play. I do believe we've got that in as well, depending on the Big Six are Category A, a couple of other teams as well, and all the rest are split into Category B teams as well. So for Wolves, adult prices for Category A games would range between £22 to £45, which is not too bad. And for Category B, it would range between £22 to £35. If you're over 65 and under 21, it'll set you back £13. Under 17 is £10, and under 12 is £5. And again, it goes back to that point. Again, a good club won the Championship last season, coming up their first actual stint in the Premier League for a long time, since I think 2012, I think it was. And again, you look at some of them figures and you can't complain. Obviously, to watch Category A games, an adult between 22 to 45 isn't too bad, considering majority of the teams are probably going to fall into the Category B section, and range between 22 to 35, which I believe should be the cap for us, really. I don't see the point in us charging £45, £50, even £60 to watch teams like Huddersfield. And in particular, the last time game against Leicester, ticket prices were a joke that day as well. I don't think it's particularly fair to be doing that, because there's been a lot of good supporters recently who've stuck by the team, who've been loyal supporters through our really poor couple of years in the Championship prior to the 2 good seasons under Slavisa. And they can't afford to go now due to the absolute farcical ticket prices we've got. I don't think it's very fair that they should do that. And we're now, from filling seats with good loyal supporters, we're now filling seats with potential tourist fans who have no affiliation to the club, have no really idea or support the club really. They just go to watch a game of football. And it kind of really then, it has an effect on the atmosphere in my opinion. And you take away loyal supporters and you replace them with these so-called tourists, whatever you want to call them. It's up to you really. I do think it has an effect because we pride ourselves on having good supporters. We have a loyal, close-knit bunch of loyal supporters, in my opinion. And if you're going to take that away from the club, you're taking away the soul, really. And us fans, we're going to be there through thick and thin. Whether we go up this season, stay up this season, or go down, we'll still be there this season. And a lot of them people who pay to watch Premier League football won't be there next season. So it definitely needs to be rethinked and definitely needs to be put into plan to make it affordable for all. Because I looked at our game against Wolves come up on Boxing Day. For ticket prices, if you want to sit in Hammersmith H5, Block H5 in Hammersmith End, adults are £45, over 65s are £40, under 18 is 25, and 18 to 21 is £40. I'm sorry, but that's not on. I don't see how you're attracting supporters to pay that price for it. I look at teams compared like Cardiff and like Wolves, who are in a similar position to us, who've come up, haven't been in the Premier League for about 4 to 5 years, maybe even a little bit longer, and they're trying to make it affordable for all, trying to attract a younger generation as well, trying to keep their older generation on board as well. And from what we're doing, it seems like we're just pushing everybody away really, and really trying to attract a different type of. I don't want to say the word customer, because I don't like that being used. I think fans are fans, but some owners treat fans like customers, and if we're going to go down that route, that's how it's definitely going to feel, and just going to create more and more tension as the season goes on. And also my next point of discussion is the recruitment policy. It's come under scrutiny a lot this season, and currently, because of where we are, it gets highlighted more. And when we, if we'd been doing much better this season, no one bats an eyelid to it, of course not. But when we're down the bottom, it gets highlighted a lot. And we did a lot of the players we brought in. We think we signed about 12 players in January. They came in the summer. Sorry. We brought them in because of their ability. They were good players, they had a lot of good potential, and their ability was good. And looking at players like Anguissa, Seri, who come in with big reputations, big price tags. Alfie Mawson as well was a good player. Joe Bryan came in. Rico and Fabry came in 2 good goalkeepers there. Mitrovic re-signed on a permanent for big money. And really, I'd look at 3 players, Rico, Chambers and possibly Mitrovic as well. I know Joe Bryan's been injured for a while, so we've not seen the best of him. Alfie Mawson's starting to improve now, but I think other than that, the summer signings haven't been good enough. And I did think that Tony Khan and the Khans really went for the kid in the sweet shop approach. I think the amount of money we spent, I just don't think we needed to spend so much money really on 12 new players. I think when you do, and in my opinion, when you do come up, you need to try and make sure that you don't try and rip up that core that got you promoted. Because I do believe that when you come up, you're experiencing a whole different level compared to what you were last season. And if you're going to suddenly replace every single player who got you up and try and blood a whole new bunch of players in to try and start the season, bearing in mind we signed 6 players on deadline day, and our first game against Palace was the next day. And I believe that when you sign so many players, it does then have to, you have to go back to the drawing board and start your process again. I do believe that if we just, don't get me wrong, I do believe there's no law to state to start every single signing, and we did near enough on the first day. We started a lot of signings, and it's upset the team spirit. You can see that there's a lot of players there now who don't seem interested anymore and don't seem like they're bothered. These new signings, they don't really understand the value of playing for this football club, and quite frankly, it's not good enough. And I understand that these quality players, and they're not going to play to their best every week. I get that. There's going to be times when they're not going to play. But when you're a quality player and you come to a football club, you're expected to deliver. And if you don't deliver, you get replaced by other players who will replace you and to look to do a better job. And at the moment, there's a few players who seriously need to pull their finger out, because at the moment they're not showing they're not showing the hype, and they're not showing the effort that we made to try and get them to the club. Because a lot of the signings came out and said that we made them wanted, and they came to us because we wanted them, and we made it quite clear that we wanted them. But if we wanted them, why don't they show why we wanted them? Why don't they come out and make more effort and show what they're capable of, instead of going hiding, instead of playing once every while when they fancy it? Why not put in a performance every week that suggests, all right, if you don't play to your best, but you're going to fight and you're going to show some character, that's acceptable for the fans, because you're trying your best. No matter what happens, you're giving it. You're giving your all. And when you're not doing that, it then becomes a problem, because there are lesser players in this squad who I look at, like Kamara, Johansson. There's players in there who don't get much game time at the moment. And I know for a fact, if they were to come in and play every week, you'd get a much better performance than, say, some of these bigger players. And what I've seen on social media is we're slating them because they're foreign. It's nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with where they're from or who they are. We're not like Chelsea, who are small section of their fans discriminate and basically divide. We're not like that. As I said before, if you're a quality player, you're coming to Fulham and you're not pulling your weight, you're going to get criticised. It's just part and parcel of football, and it's all about how they react from this. We're down the bottom because we're not good enough at the moment. It's fact. We've become the laughing stock of this league at the moment. Every single pundit or preview show I watch, people are laughing at us. They're basically taking the piss about us because, let's be honest, it's embarrassing. I feel embarrassed right now watching this team get absolutely slated every week because we can't do the basics right, and watch us get thumped by a very poor Manchester United side at the weekend who, prior to that, they just didn't pull up trees this season. And it's embarrassing. I do feel embarrassed watching some of these players at times, because I don't care what results are. If you come out on the pitch and you give your best, I've not got a problem. And I'd rather see us play, give it our all, and even lose the game than do what we did Saturday. Don't turn up, don't care, and then get thumped. It's just not the right way about it. And I do believe there's so many things that have got to be taken coming to the January transfer window. It's an important window, the January window now, and I do worry. Obviously, talking about some of the recruitment January transfer rumours that have gone around throughout the media. Nathaniel Klein on right back, Danny Drinkwater in midfield, Joel Matip, although that's going to probably look unlikely now since Joe Gomez has got a bit of he's had a 6-week injury and Matip played at the weekend. People like Islam Slimani as well have been named, and these are the type of players where we're going to have to be careful, I think, in January. We cannot go out and immediately go and blow money on about 8 or 9 players. We can't do that, because if we do, I think that would completely be the bad idea. I think we need to really focus on maybe getting 2 or 3 defenders in. I think going forward we look fine. I just think maybe a midfielder and a couple of defenders maybe. I'd only sign maybe 3 players maximum. If you're going to sign more than that, then it totally upsets, and it upsets the group, in my opinion. And it just shows that it's panic, and I don't want to see that from us. And we're going to have to be careful properly going into the January transfer window, because if we get that wrong, it could be a long road back. Potentially talking about moving on, talking about relegation. I think if we were to go down this season, I believe it would be a disaster because of the money we've spent this season and the repercussions we could face if we go down. You only got to look at teams like Queen's Park Rangers, who had a stint in the Premier League like us, spent lots of money, spent big money on players. It didn't work. They went down, and they're still actually trying to come back from their financial problems now. And they went down their first actual season when they went down and when they signed a whole load of players. They're still trying to survive from that now, and you can see that they've cut dramatic costs on the playing squad. They're basically unable to spend money really. Steve McLaren's had to go through the loan market and free signing to try and sign some players, I don't want to see it happen to us. We'd have to rebuild again, I think. Just like in 14-15, we'd have to rip up the squad and start again. And that would be a problem because in my opinion, I think the rebuilding job under Slavisa was great. And understand, I'm not going to talk about his sacking today. I think I've said enough on that in my opinion. But to start all over again would be a problem, I think. And potentially, I do believe we could easily do a Sunderland, what Wolves did, and fall into League One. Back-to-back relegations would look a possibility. I don't want to look too far ahead because I'd love it if we could start this season. But if we were to go down, it would be a big, big problem. And I do believe that the club's long-term future is on the line in these next 5 months. If we get this January transfer window wrong, and the next 5 months we end up going down, I do worry long-term about this football club. I worry about the Khans, if they're going to stay on. I understand we found a contractor now to try and build up, to try and go ahead with the Riverside Stand developments. If we were to go down, would that still go ahead? I'm not too sure. And I do worry about that. And I do worry about our long-term future if we were to go down. I don't think we'd come back. I don't think we'd probably get back to the Premier League for a very, very long time. And I think it'd be much longer than 4 years. And it's a big problem. And I can't reiterate the point that these next 5 months are crucial. The fans have to stick together. we've got to be there now, because we're going to be there regardless of what happens. If we go down or stay up, we're still going to be there next season, and the support has to stay the same. We're doing well at the moment, the fans. We've got to keep our heads high. It's been a long season, however, the team will need us, and it'd pain me if we went down this season. It really would. Seeing the absolute catastrophe of when we went down before, it really hurt me, and seeing what happened afterwards, almost going to League One, wasn't great. And I just pray that we start this season and the players actually show some fight, because at the moment, the way we're going, it's only one way, it's straight down. We've got some big games coming up now, and it's a perfect time to get some form together. Going into the big period of Christmas now, you've got plenty of games coming thick and fast, and we need to start picking up some results. Players have got to start performing now and really start to prove their worth, because if we don't, then we're going to go down for whimper, and it's going to be an embarrassing season. So there, guys, much longer video than normal for me. If you did enjoy it, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new as well, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.